Addiction can hit a family like a literal tornado, right? Total chaos, fear, just a paralyzing sense of overwhelm. But what if there was an actual structured map to guide you out of the storm? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the incredibly comprehensive roadmap to recovery provided by the iRely recovery platform. We're going to look at the whole journey, from that terrifying initial point of crisis all the way through to sustainable long-term healing. So if you've ever wondered how structured recovery actually works from the inside out, or maybe you're looking for a lifeline yourself, you are exactly where you need to be. Okay, here's the exact path we'll be mapping out today. We'll start with the broad road to recovery, zoom in on navigating medical detox, explore comprehensive treatment and therapies, break down understanding specific substances, and finally, look at what it really takes to maintain long-term sober living. Section 1. The Road to Recovery. Let's begin by looking at the overarching structure of the healing process. iRely lays out a very clear step-by-step path here, breaking it down into 3 core levels of care: detox, residential treatment, and aftercare. Now, why do these have to go in order? Well, imagine trying to unpack deep childhood trauma in a therapy session while your brain is physically screaming for a chemical. Yeah, it simply doesn't work. You can't just skip straight to therapy. You absolutely must start with step 1, detox, to clear the substance from the body. Only then can you move to step 2, residential treatment, where the real deep psychological work takes root. And finally, step 3 is aftercare and alumni programs. This is what keeps you grounded in the real world. It's a highly structured system, and it's built this way for a very good reason. Moving on to section 2, navigating medical detox. The first major step on this timeline is often the most physically demanding. If you or a loved one are in a crisis, you might be asking this exact question right now. What are the actual signs that you need immediate emergency help? Like, what does a crisis truly look like? It's that terrifying moment when a private struggle suddenly spirals into an intense physical reality. We're talking shallow breathing, sudden unresponsiveness, or panic-inducing withdrawal episode. Recognizing this critical threshold, knowing exactly when a situation has escalated from a bad habit to an acute medical emergency is quite literally the first action step in saving a life. When that realization hits, honestly, the immediate instinct for a lot of people is to try and handle it privately. People naturally want to protect their pride. So it leads to the big question. Is detox dangerous at home? The blunt answer? Yes. Going it alone without professional oversight carries severe and sometimes lethal risks. We aren't just talking about intense physical discomfort here. We are talking about sudden, life-threatening seizures from alcohol withdrawal or severe dehydration that can rapidly trigger organ failure. Doing a DIY detox is a gamble with incredibly high stakes. Just don't do it. Now, when you're looking at professional approaches to ensure safety, there are distinct paths you can take. Medical detox gives you a highly supervised clinical environment. This is where doctors and nurses are actively managing those dangerous physical symptoms with medication. On the flip side, holistic detox incorporates alternative whole-body approaches. This means utilizing methods like nutritional therapy, acupuncture, and natural supplements, all alongside a structured environment to ease the body back to its baseline. Knowing these different methodologies really empowers families to choose the safest, most effective path based on the severity of the addiction. The physical progression of withdrawal is serious business. Let's look at the timeline for alcohol withdrawal to remove some of the mystery from what is a very scary process. At 24 hours, the initial tremors, sweating, and anxiety typically kick in. But right around that 72-hour mark, wow, that is the absolute peak. This is the incredibly dangerous window where heart rates can spike uncontrollably. Medical supervision here is absolutely mandatory to prevent a tragedy. By the 1-week mark, the physical grip finally begins to loosen, assuming the patient has received the proper medical care to weather the storm safely. Section 3. Comprehensive Treatment and Therapies. With the physical grip safely managed, the journey shifts into the deep psychological work. The crucial concept you really need to grasp here is dual diagnosis. This is a framework that treats substance use directly alongside underlying mental health conditions, because you simply cannot treat addiction in a vacuum. Think about it. If someone is using alcohol to self-medicate severe PTSD or debilitating anxiety, and you only treat the drinking, well, the moment they feel triggered again, they have no defense, right? They're going to return to the substance. For recovery to actually stick, mental health conditions like bipolar disorder, anxiety, or depression have to be fought right alongside the addiction. And, it's not just the individual who needs healing. Addiction impacts everyone in its blast radius. So which family therapy approach is best suited for your situation? The resources compare models like Al-Anon and Craft. Al-Anon largely focuses on support for the family, teaching them how to detach with love, set firm boundaries, and find their own peace regardless of the addict's choices. Craft, on the other hand, is highly proactive. It teaches the family specific behavioral strategies to actively encourage their loved one to enter and stay in treatment. Both are powerful, but they serve very different family needs. To actually rewire someone's thought patterns, a massive breadth of behavioral therapies is deployed. And thank goodness, because it is definitely not a one-size-fits-all approach. Take cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It focuses on identifying and changing destructive thought patterns. Then you have dialectical behavioral therapy, DBT, which is slightly different. It's incredible for emotional regulation and teaching patients how to tolerate severe distress without turning to drugs. Add in acceptance and commitment therapy and motivational interviewing, and you've got this varied toolkit. If one psychological approach doesn't click, there are multiple other evidence-based methods ready to go. Beyond traditional talk therapy, there's also a huge focus on holistic and trauma-informed care. Unresolved trauma and grief almost always fuel substance use. To tackle this, clinics are incorporating adventure therapy, mindfulness, and somatic experiencing therapy. If you aren't familiar with somatic therapy, it's pretty fascinating. It's based on the reality that trauma is physically stored in the body's nervous system. By focusing on physical bodily sensations rather than just talking about old memories, this therapy literally helps release that trapped trauma. It's all about treating the whole human being. Section 4. Understanding specific substances, because effective treatment requires knowing exactly what you are dealing with. This spectrum of modern addiction is just incredibly vast. Clinics tackle everything from century-old battles like alcohol and cocaine to highly lethal modern synthetic opioids like fentanyl. But what is truly fascinating to me is how modern treatment has to rapidly adapt to our digital age. They are increasingly treating behavioral addictions like gambling, gaming, and internet use disorder right alongside traditional substances. The dopamine loops in the brain can be hijacked just as severely by a glowing screen as they can by a chemical. Treatment platforms also have to address the medical concerns surrounding everyday prescriptions. They answer critical questions like, does Adderall raise blood pressure? This context is vital because medications like Adderall are so deeply normalized in our academic and professional settings today. For the average person, the line between, say, prescription use for productivity and dangerous misuse is super blurry. Knowing the physical risks of these common stimulants is absolutely essential to staying safe. The platform also tackles the severe risks associated with common household medications. Can you overdose on sleeping pills? Can you actually get addicted to Tylenol? Asking these questions sheds a terrifying but totally necessary light on reality. The most dangerous substances aren't always found on some shady street corner. Often they're sitting quietly in our own medicine cabinets right now. Imagine the pure panic of a parent finding a mysterious pill in their teenager's room. Your mind instantly goes to the absolute worst-case scenario. Well, iRely provides exact identification guides, like how to identify a G037 white oblong pill. Having an immediate, reliable identification guide turns a moment of terrifying uncertainty into actionable clarity. It tells you exactly what you're dealing with so you can make fast, informed decisions in an emergency. For those navigating the actual logistics of recovery, they offer complete detection guides, like how long does a painkiller like Narco stay in your system, or what are the withdrawal timelines for nerve medications like gabapentin. This isn't just medical trivia, this is critical context for someone returning to work, facing a probation drug test, or just trying to understand their own safety while tapering off a medication. Total transparency on what is happening inside the body is a must. Section 5. Long-term sober living. Now we move out of the clinical setting and towards hope. Transitioning back to everyday life can be incredibly daunting. Think about the psychological drop-off. You leave the safety of a 24/7 monitored rehab facility where every single hour is structured by professionals, and you return to the wide-open, completely unstructured real world. It's so common to wonder, does the path to lasting recovery have to be a lonely journey? Like, how do you actually live a normal life again? Well, the resources prove it absolutely doesn't have to be lonely. They offer highly localized, super practical guides for living a sober life in cities like Los Angeles. And I really want to highlight how surprisingly comprehensive these are. We aren't just talking about finding AA meetings. They offer sober dating guides, guides on finding the right sober roommates. They even cover how to plan recovery-friendly vacations. It just goes to show that long-term recovery isn't just about stubbornly surviving day-to-day. It's about relearning how to truly enjoy life, recreation, and connection entirely without a chemical crutch. Ultimately, success relies on taking all these therapies, all these medical insights, and integrating them into the core strategies of relapse prevention. It's about building a daily routine that leans heavily on what's called recovery-oriented systems of care. If you haven't heard that term, it basically means building a whole, interwoven network of community, clinical, and peer support around a person, rather than just relying on a single weekly therapist visit. You're essentially building a fortress of support to protect your sobriety at all costs. Given this comprehensive roadmap from making the agonizing decision to seek emergency medical detox through dual diagnosis treatment, all the way to finding a sober roommate to share your new life with, the map is drawn. The resources are sitting right there waiting. So if you had the exact map to get your life back, what is the single excuse stopping you from taking the first step today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, stay strong, and take care.